Shabbat Shalom. Hashem, I feel like I have to confess that I intentionally... I feel like a troublemaker because I did intentionally go to cause trouble. Can I talk about it? Well, who do I talk to? I can talk to you. It's recorded for posterity. Did we get to a more secluded place that I could talk directly? Well, ma'am, what ended up happening was I got an email from Desmond's tennis team. And so I looked around the school store to see if there was anything that would catch my eye. Anything cheap that I could get with like $10. Of course it was not. And I felt bad because the last time that the tennis team emailed me, they were doing a fundraiser, and all the kids, they had to get like $800 at least, something like that. And I went peeking around, like each kid had their own page on the fundraiser, and Desmond put my name on the contact list. He put my email, right? So when I got the email, I went to the fundraiser page, and I was kind of exploring around, and I was seeing all the other kids, they had money, but Des only had like, I think he might have only had like $20, maybe. He might have had $0. And I didn't want to leave him hanging like that. Hey, are you guys twins? Are you guys twins?
No, not at all.
No?
Not even close.
You don't think so?
No. I'm closer to my other brother.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we're a little more similar.
Gotcha.
Like, actions.
Personality is almost identical.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, I'm more like my brother, he's more like...
You're older, yeah?
I'm the older one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see it now. Now I can see like the younger face.
What's making you question? Is it, like, the glasses and, like, the same, like, frame in a way?
Well, you guys got the same facial structure. From an objective perspective.
Like a distance, you're saying?
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, now that I'm like staring at you both like this, I could see the difference, but
2 inches from you, like, not a good chance. Not a good chance. You're not supposed to.
It's a different comment. We never got told that before.
no, it's all right. There's a first.
Appreciate it.
No worries.
It's really scary.
No, now the thing you don't do, which I learned from my sister, is never tell a woman that she looks like her mother.
I didn't know that. Why is that?
Most of the time, they don't like their mothers. I don't know. For some reason, there's always, every woman I've ever had an encounter with, they always have an issue with their mom.
Really?
Yeah. And especially my sister, like they look like twins. But if you tell my sister that she looks like my mother, she'll lose her fucking mind.
Maybe it's just experience. Because you said it yourself. Because you said your sister doesn't like your mom.
Yeah. Well, that's what it is. That's what I think it is they associate the physical.
And they don't like that.
Yeah.
Because
You're saying I look like my mother, so you're saying I'm my mother?
hell no. Hell no. That's not right.
All right, guys.
I'll see you.
See you, bud. You too. So I got the email from the Tennessee fundraiser, and Des's page had no money on it. But I see that there was a goal. Like, every kid had a goal, right? So I went exploring to see what all the other kids had. Because God gave me this idea. Fuck it, let's see if we can get Desmond past the threshold. And so there was some malicious intent behind it. It wasn't just to help out my son, which it was. That was a big part of it. If I didn't want to, I wouldn't have done it. I had no idea he was on a tennis team. So when we were still a family unit, I mean, when he was a kid, we got him into baseball, and towards the end, I had got him into boxing. There was a boxing place that was literally right down the street from the condo. So he was a little bit of a softie, and considering that he was getting older, he's about to go into middle school. He was going into fresh territory, and I thought, you know what, it would be wise if the kid knew how to defend himself. You know what I mean? He didn't like it. He fucking hated it. The dude couldn't do a fucking sit-up for his life. He was a chunky. He was a chunky, but that's because, well, that's his mother's genetics. We don't have fat people in my family. He wasn't fat. He was just, I mean, he was definitely big boned. We could say that. I hate that excuse, but he was a big bone kid. Like, he was always in the 90 percentile. He was a fucking giant when he was born. My fear, what I used to say when he was younger is, like, I gotta put the fucking fear of God into this fucking kid. Because when he grows up, he's gonna fucking be a beast. And the last thing I need, because I'm not a big man. The last thing I need is some fucking giant kid who thinks he can bully me around. Fuck that shit. So I figured my philosophy was simple. Teach him to fear me when he's young. This way, when he's bigger and he is like a fucking mountain, I got nothing to worry about. And I'll admit that my current situation with the boy, my relationship with the boy now, is predicated on my parenting skills, my parenting style. Which, to be perfectly honest, I didn't think we were really that bad. I never hit him. I mean, when he was an infant, I punched him in the chest once, but that's only because I was in like a fucked up place. That's when I realized I had to start like redirecting all of my rage at the dog. Well, I had already been abusing the dog at that point, but once I started to realize like I wanted to abuse the baby, that's when I was like, fuck, can't do that. But other than that, I never hit him. I would yell at him. I spanked him once, but that's because he punched me. And after that, Yo, fuck? The fuck do you think you're doing? It's like I gave him a lot of threats. One time it was a Shabbat and I was upstairs sleeping and I heard him and April arguing downstairs and he called her a bitch. And I'm like, alright, now we got some shit. Because there's one thing is like, I can call my wife a bitch. He got it from me, of course. I can call my wife a bitch all day, every day. Especially if she's being a bitch. Which is why I called her a bitch. But one thing you don't do, you don't call my wife a bitch. That's where we got a problem. And he was the only guy who I ever heard call my wife a bitch, because I would have done this to anybody. But I got right up, I went downstairs, I got right in his face. I said, you call my fucking wife a bitch one more time, I'm gonna put your ass right through the fucking wall. You better wash your fucking mouth. But when I saw the tennis page, right? Like my mischievous side came out. Because mind you, like this was just maybe like 10 months ago. This is back in like February, I think. February or March. God showed me like a couple versions of the future, and I wanted to exploit them, and he told me to. Have fun with this. So my plan was to figure out a way to get the boy, as much money as possible, so that he didn't feel like an asshole because nobody gave him any money. So what I did was I contributed like $250 to the team. I wanted to do more, but I was running out of money at that point, and my unemployment stopped coming in. And I only had like maybe like $800 in the bank, so I'm like, fuck it. You know what? Let me throw $250. Because, one, that's a nice amount. But then at the same time, see, this is where the mischievous part was. I was thinking of it like, if I contribute $250 to his tennis team, it's not impossible. It's not impossible that people ask, like, oh, where's Desmond's dad? Because I have this theory that my name has been soiled in unrepairable ways because of those people. So I thought it would be funny if anybody who looked at Desmond's page, especially his teacher, because I have a theory, I could be wrong. I know April's boyfriend is a gym teacher and that he's a tennis coach. So immediately my thought was, all right, well this dude is Desmond's tennis coach. So if Desmond's dad contributes $250 to the tennis team, her boyfriend, the coach, might be the coach. I don't really know. I don't know. Is gonna see it and then be like, yo, I thought you said this guy was a deadbeat. And not to gain any glory in this man's eyes, because I don't really give a fuck about him, but just to make her look like an asshole. Do you see? Right, that. Because that was part of the intention, was to make her look like an asshole. And at the same time, my plan, because thank you, Hashem, it came to me really quick. And God showed me this vision of me contributing the money, but then having my family contribute money to his tennis team to show support as well. So I text my mother, I text my brother, and I text my sister, and I sent them a link and said, hey, listen, contribute money to this because to support him, but also so that April's family eventually finds out and then they have no choice but to contribute money to support the team. So, because I knew that word would get around that we were putting money to support his tennis team, and they would look like serious jerk-offs if they didn't do the same thing. Because, like I said, I wanted him to get as close to the goal as possible, if not surpass it. And he almost did, because my plan worked. My plan worked beautifully. The only person who didn't contribute was Chris. I was a little bit out of shape because he told me he was going to, and had he, then Des would have surpassed the goal. But it is what it is. So my mother threw 100, my sister threw 100 a couple days later, but I noticed, I see I'm smiling because my plan worked. About half hour, 45 minutes after my mother contributed $100, we checked the page and we saw that April's mom threw in $20, April's mom's friend threw in $20, April's mom's sister-in-law threw in $20, April's sister threw $20. And now, I'm also looking at it like, well, you know what? I'm a poor man. I'm throwing 250. These motherfuckers, they that's the best they can do is $20. But the point was that they did what I wanted them to do. And at the same time, I got to kill two birds with one stone. I got to carry two stones with one bird. In that I got to support my son and his activity, and at the same time demonstrate my control over her family, which worked beautifully because I know her mother. I've known her mother since I was 15, and she likes to put on this display that she's this queen bee, and in her family, yeah, she is. She's the boss. One of the things she didn't like about me, or maybe one of the things she did like about me that she didn't want to tell anybody that she liked about me, was one day we had a family dinner, and I don't know what triggered this. She might have been like intimidating her husband, April's father, and I said to her, I was like, you wouldn't be able to handle a man like me. You know why? Because unlike him, I say no. And then I think I slapped her in the ass. Well, I might not have slapped her in the ass that time, but I did slap her ass once. At least one time. I slapped her ass in front of her husband. I've slapped her sister's ass in front of her husband. Because I kind of like... I'm a believer that the men in that family, they're all pussies. Which is probably why I have to put this on public eventually, but that kind of leads back to what I did the other day, 2 days ago. So I got another email. Oh, so because I contributed the 250, on Desmond's page, I got a plaque, and it said the champion supporter, Derek Pignataro. And you know, it filled me with a sense of pride because I knew that now, anytime that one of them or one of their friends were forced into contributing, because they only did it because I did. I don't know if they would have done it if I hadn't, but I wanted to ensure that they did. And I knew that their egos wouldn't be able to handle the fact that my name was the champion. And I knew it would make the boy happy too, because deep down, I believe that the only reason he doesn't have a relationship with me is because the last time he saw me around his mother, I almost punched her in the face, and he doesn't like trouble. He's a good boy like that. He's a little shit talker, especially when my back is turned, but he's a good boy. He means well. So, just the other day, less than a week ago, I got an email from the team again, and it said Desmond had invited you to contribute to the team. And so we have the school store all set up. So, well, see, now, when I contributed the $250, there was also an option to get like a hoodie, sweater, some shit like that. So I got him a hoodie, and it said, do you want to leave a message? And I said, yeah, I want to leave a message. I like puns. I'm very punny when I need to be, when it makes me laugh. So I got him a hoodie, and I left a message. It's all good in the hood. Just so he knows, I'm not mad at you. You're my baby bubble boy. I love you. It's those people I want to make look like idiots. And that's the predication for what happened the other day. So April's father, he friend requested me on Facebook maybe a week or so before what happened with the tennis team. I messaged him to say, hey, what's going on? How you doing? But he never responded to me. It was really weird. It's like the fact that they don't respond when I reach out to them is like kind of creepy. It makes it. I was having a thought about it today. Like if they don't have anything to say, it's because they don't want to. They're gonna have to tell me things I don't want to hear, which might get them in trouble. Because I think they broke the law. I'm pretty sure. Well, with regards to me, between soiling my name, whatever story that they told about the divorce, whatever they told the court, God only knows. God does know. He told me I don't want to know. So I saw the school store. I saw that everything was like pretty expensive. Not expensive. It was more than what I have. So I said, fuck it. You know what? Let's have fun with this. Just like we did with the tennis team thing. The fundraiser. And so I made a chat group in Messenger. Now let me back up, because it was on my birthday, the day after my birthday. My mother and I, we went out, we had some wine. It was good. I had a fun time. But I was feeling hurt because I hadn't heard from Des for my birthday. And so what I did was I messaged April and I told her, I think I waited till the morning. Well, no, I messaged her twice. I messaged her that night when I had my little drunk on. But then in the morning, I felt like, you know what? I was drunk. Let me do this again. And I said to her, tell that fucking kid, tell that boy that he better make nice with his daddy and his grandma, or I'm gonna start annoying the fuck out of your parents. Because they're accomplices in this whole thing, if not the masterminds. So I sat on it. I thought about it. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And I asked God. I'm like, what the hell do I do? Like, I just made a threat. He goes, no, you didn't make a threat. You made a promise. So it's actually been like, that was in August. We're now in November, so 3 months ago. And when I got the email for the tennis store, the tennis team store, God said to me, now it's time for you to fulfill your promise. What I want you to do is start a group chat. Do it simple. Start slow. Don't rush into this. Put her and her father. And then I want you to ask them for the money to support your son. And so I did. I wrote them an email. I wrote them a text message about the store. I said, hey, I got Desmond put my email, and there's a couple things I want to get for him. So can you guys cash at me $150 so that I can buy him these 2 items? And then I even went so far as I sent them pictures of the 2 items that I wanted. Like I went in the hoodie section, and there's a really nice one. It's a Nike hoodie, but it's like $95. Like there was a range of them, but I wanted to get him the good one, you know? So I'm like, fuck it. Why? Spare no expense. And then I went and looked at some more, and I found these cool jammy pants. These plaid jammy pants. And I know he likes his jammies. So I figured the Nike hoodie that has the team logo on it, and then the plaid jammy panties. The plaid jammy pants that also have the team logo on it. Because I fully support him playing tennis. I always wanted him to be an active kid. So I messaged them that. And I was scared shitless about what they were going to respond. And by the end of the day, I just checked. Like, I tried to avoid it all day, to not look at it. I just did my own thing. Like, I was doing the group work. But then I checked before the end of the night, and I saw both of their icons by the message. So it showed that they had seen my message. Now, there was intention behind that. I did want to cause trouble. Because the mother is the one who wears the pants. And she tells the father what pants he has to wear, if you feel me. So, and I know that April's deathly afraid of her mother. Like, everyone's afraid of the mother. No one will stand up to her. I'm the only one who's ever stood up to her. I stood up to her right in front of her husband once, too. I shut her right the fuck down. It was right after we split. I heard her talk some shit in front of my son. I was in the car. I was actually in the car waiting for him to come outside, and I heard her mother say something, and it wasn't going to fly. So the next morning, when April came over to get him ready for school, I told her, I'm going to your mother's house. I'm going to deal with this shit right now. They ain't going to do that again. I don't want them talking like that in front of him. And she lost her mind. She's like, fuck, don't, leave them alone, leave them alone. All right, no problem. I'll just go to work then. But I didn't. I went right to the house, because they live right down the street. And as soon as I pulled up to the house, I saw her father getting ready for work. And this was so uncomfortable. But you know what? I give myself credit for having the balls to actually do it. So I got out of the car, and me and him, we started talking. He wasn't happy with me. That's for sure. He wasn't happy. So he brought me inside, and then his wife came downstairs, and they both kind of just went at me. Telling me how lazy I was, how bad of a husband I was, how shitty a father I was. Then they started accusing me of doing cocaine at the fucking beach house that they got the year prior, which is true. I did. And I said, yeah, I did the coke. Yeah, but so did everybody. I don't know. Why are you singling me out? And that's ultimately what it was. For 45 minutes, I sat there and I just let them abuse me. And finally, it just got to a point where I said, yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm all those things. But that's not why I'm here. I'm here because I'm concerned about her. And it got even to the point, I shut her down in front of her husband, and then her husband said in front of her, well, you know, Joe, he's kind of making sense here. And she kept her mouth shut, which was, to me, I at that moment, fuck yeah, I won. That's how you fucking deal with this. And she was also the one who told me that my divorce papers were in the mail. Meanwhile, they weren't. She told me an untruth, and she said that the divorce... I asked her what the date was. I called her once, about a week before we got divorced. I didn't know we were getting divorced. And when I called her, she answered the phone, but she wasn't very nice. I was nice. And she even said, why are you calling here all nice for? That fucking Staten Island accent. What are you calling all nice for? Alright, you want to go like that. Alright. So what's going on? Are we divorced or are we not divorced? What's happening? I'm not saying nothing. And if you want to see your son again, you better talk to a lawyer. What? Can you say that one more time? So where's the divorce papers? They're going to your mother. They're going to your mother's house. And she caught herself, and I heard it. It was a very small inflection in her voice that gave away that she didn't know what she was talking about, or that she was lying. Now a week later, right? I was staying with my grandmother for like a month, 2 months. My grandmother fell and broke her hip. Word got back to me. I had my mother take me to go see my grandmother in the hospital. So when I saw my grandmother, she told me, stay in my apartment, you live there while I'm in here. But I got mail for you in the one drawer. So I had an idea that was probably the divorce papers. So when I got back, my suspicion was confirmed, and it was in fact the court papers. But what happened was, this was April 9th, 2019. I opened the fucking thing, and it is the court papers from the court itself, with the court date of today. That day. So literally, I went to my grandmother's, I opened the fucking thing. I opened the court papers on the day that I was getting divorced. But this is at around like 5, 6 o'clock at night. So what happened was, I got the court papers, I got the divorce papers on the day that I was getting divorced, 5 hours after I got divorced. Bullshit. But at the same time, I'm glad it worked out exactly that way. It was perfect. It was so perfect. So anyway, so we're fast forwarding back to now. So I have a little bit of a grudge, if you can't tell. So two things were going through my mind. One, I'm going to do this. I'm going to ask them for the money. Because one, it's going to take balls for me to do that. Because I want them to. Give me the money. Give me that $150 so I can go support my son. Because you are the reason why I don't have my son. You took my son away from me. Now you are going to give me the money so I can support him. Do you understand? God tells me her father owns a business. Her father owns a business, Ocean Dental. God tells me by the end of this drama, that company's going to be mine. And they're going to work for me. That's what I'm working for. I may even, oh, you know what, I can't. If it wasn't against Torah law, just to be an asshole, I would remarry April. I would do it. Just so I can fucking just be a fucking tyrant over all of them. But Torah law specifically says that if a man marries a woman, well, technically, well, she's been with this dude for 5 years, so technically that counts. And they were together while we were married. Desmond told me about him. That's the only reason I knew the guy's a tennis coach, because Desmond told me. Oh, no. I looked at his Facebook page once. So there was a few things, there were a few reasons why I did what I did, and one of it was to cause trouble. But in a way that it's so subtle, that even if they were to talk to a lawyer, they couldn't actually accuse me of harassment, you know? Well, I looked up harassment laws. I looked up harassment laws just in case, because I have a plan of how I'm going to play this out using the moon, because they're not going to suspect that. See, now it's the weekend, everybody's off. Like the brother-in-law, he's off. Because only the men work in the family, the men and April. And April works for her father. So everybody's off on the weekend. So now everybody has no choice but to talk about it, I think. So my suspicion is like this. I only included April and her father just as kind of like a warning. That was a warning shot. I like to do things it's very obvious what I'm doing, but I like to feel like I'm doing something mischievous. And not really mischievous, but more going, you're going to do what I want you to do. I'm the fucking rule maker now. I'm the fucking boss. Because I don't expect them to take me seriously either. And that's another thing. I'm kind of hoping that they all laugh and make fun and make jokes about it. Why the fuck didn't this loser ask his own mom? Well, one, it's not my mom's problem. My mom didn't take my son away from me, so there's that. My mom didn't commit libel against me. There's that. My mom didn't use malicious intent, maliciously weaponize the court system. So there's that, right? Because alimony, I had a verbal agreement with April. Well, I told her just flat out, you're not getting alimony. I don't pay alimony. But I told her that long before we were married. Back when the plan was never to get married. I'm never gonna marry you, and you're never gonna get alimony. I want to make that just perfectly clear to you. You talk to her that way? Yeah, I fucking talked to her that way. I told her straight the fuck up. Her parents used to, like, before Desmond, or I think even after Desmond, her family, her grandmother once said, like, when are you gonna get married? I told her, I'm not marrying her. Well, you never get married. Then why'd you get married? For insurance. Because I had good insurance. It was a smart decision. It was a wise decision. People say, oh, that's bad. You shouldn't be, that's a bad reason to get married. No, actually, that's actually not a bad reason to get married. My uncle said it best. Marriage is like a business partnership. Marriage is more than just two people loving each other. Even a rabbi, I was listening to a rabbi. He goes, love is the thing that ruins all marriages. You got to know what the fuck you're going into. There's got to be a financial plan. There's got to be a living plan, a sex plan. What else? An educational plan. Like, you motherfuckers, people get married. You got it's a lot more. You're literally starting a fucking entity. You're creating something. Like, you can't just fucking blindly go into it. And at the time, I'll give myself a pat on the back because it was a wise financial decision on my part to get married. So, where am I going? So, I thought this is a good opportunity for me to fulfill my promise. Just like God told me. Like, this is a good time. Like, do it. Bring her father into it. Ask them for the money to get those two items. All right. Because here's what's going to happen. Now, my inspiration here is Moses. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. I fucking killed the guy. was Moses. When God had Moses go and talk to Pharaoh to free the Israelites, God told him, Pharaoh's not going to agree with you. He's not going to comply. And this is the same inspiration I had when I was suing Hugo Boss, is they're not going to comply. But what you have to do, you just have to keep on it. Keep on it. I'll take care of the hard stuff. I'll take care of all the minutia. You just be you're just the mouth. That's all you got to do. All right, no problem. What do you want me to do? I want you to tell them. I want you to ask them. Don't tell them. Ask them for the money. Thank them. Give them your Cash App. And that's it. Oh, and show them the items that you want to get. This way they know. All right. Because here's what's going to happen. Now that you involved her father, now you started some shit. Because the mother is the one who's in charge of the money. So now Richie, the dad, he ain't got no choice. He saw the message. Is he going to tell his wife and risk getting yelled at? Or is he not? Because let's remember the promise I made. If you don't get Desmond on the phone, I'm going to annoy the fuck out of your parents. And I guess in a court of law, Your Honor, I knew that he was a weak man, and I knew that his wife was going to berate him. So I wanted to rub it in everyone's face. I wanted to rub his nose in it in front of his daughter, that he's a weak, pathetic man. Because one of a few things are going to happen. They're either going to keep it a secret. Don't tell mommy. Don't tell mommy. Don't tell mommy. Why didn't he tell mom? Why didn't he include mommy on this? I don't understand. What's he doing? Did he think we're actually going to give him the money? No, the reason I didn't include mommy on it is because I wanted to get it in your head. I wanted to get it in your head. That's it. I just wanted to get in your head. This is I'm playing a mind game. Like this might be illegal. But at the same time, it's also a strategic. It's also strategy. Because again, I'm acting on the will of God because I'm scared shitless. I feel like I shouldn't be doing this, but God's telling me, fuck it, you got this. All right, no problem. Because this has nothing to do with getting that $150. If you get the $150, get the shit, you're good. And keep what's left over. That's an asshole tax. Go buy yourself cigarettes with it. All right. It's like $6. I think that the sweater's $95 and the hoodie and the pants were $45. And I asked them for $150. Just to round it out. Maybe I should have put like the I'm gonna keep the change as an asshole tax. Fuck, dude. Did I fucking do that? No, it's a fucking dragonfly. I don't know if I fucking crushed him. Oh, shit. So, now mind, I know the family. Well, I knew the family. I don't know how they are now. My suspicion is that they're exactly the same as the way that I left them. So my thought is, if they're either not going to tell the mom because they're afraid of what she's going to say, April's going to get pissed off because I did include her father. I got her father involved in this now. Although, technically he got him. It's not like nobody was involved. Everybody's involved. You're all fucking accomplices, you fucking parasites. So, my plan is next week on the new moon, on the first quarter moon. Oh, I'm sorry, on the new moon, I'm going to reach out again if I don't hear back from them. That's the plan. This is the plan. I don't know. Plans could change. This is what God's telling me right now. I don't know. Things might change. the idea is I'm going to get too scared to do this, and I have to not be a pussy, and I just have to follow through. So this is also a thing for me. Like, I have to, like, nut the fuck up. You know what I mean? So the idea is, right now, on the weekend, I just ruined their weekend. Potentially, hopefully. Part of me hopes that I ruined their weekend. And that Richie, if he didn't tell his wife, he's shitting his pants. He's shitting his pants because he doesn't want her to know what happened. April's pissed off because I got her father involved. Plus, at the same time, she has to sit with the fact that her father bitched out on me. Because he could have said no. They didn't even respond no. They didn't respond at all. And the fact that they didn't respond tells me a couple things. It makes me think a couple of ways. I'm convinced that they did something illegal against me, and that I don't realize it yet. They're hoping that I don't realize that I have a lawsuit against them. Not that I'm going to follow through on it, potentially, probably, more than likely, only for the fact that I feel like there's better ways of handling it. I feel like what I'm doing now is the best way of handling it. That's how I feel. Lawsuits, going to court, that's for pussies. That's for pussies. I'm following God's law on this. I'm trusting God's law on this. So, my plan is, I more than likely ruin their weekend, and maybe not. Maybe they just brushed it off. Everybody laughed and did whatever and just... But maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe this dude is fucking really shitting his pants and he's in deep shit right now because he didn't stand up to me. Because he didn't stand up to me either. Richie, you're a fucking pussy. So next week, my plan is, if I don't hear back from them, I'm gonna do like Moses did. I'm just gonna do a follow-up. Hey, by the way, I just wanted to follow up, make sure that you guys got that email, got that message. Because I really want to support Desmond and his team. By the way, how's he doing in the team? Like, I want to add, I have to ask that question. But then I'm also going to slide in, how's Joanne? How's Joanne been? I haven't talked to her in a long time. Which I know I'm not coming right out and saying it, but what I'm doing is, what my intention is, why don't you just come out and say it? I don't know, because it's a lot more fun. God told me to enjoy this. This is how he's showing me doing it. And then put the fear, now what that is supposed to do, it may not happen. It may not work out the way that I want it to, but the intention is there. And the intention is, I bring up her name to make him scared that I'm going to talk to, that I'm going to message his wife. Because on the following week, if I still don't get a response, and maybe even if I do get a response, but on the first quarter moon, the plan is to make a new group chat. And in that group chat, I'm going to have the father, the mother, and April. I'll put them both in there. And then I'm going to remind them that Richie, the father, his birthday, he and my mother, they share a birthday. My mother hasn't seen or heard from Desmond since 2020. So what I'm going to do, what the plan is I'm going to include the mother, Joanne, in that group chat. And remind them, hey, my mother's birthday is coming up. And it'll really make her day if she hears from her grandson, who she hasn't, well, I won't say that. She would really appreciate hearing from her grandson. He doesn't have to apologize or anything. Just give her a call. That'd be great. Now, I'm expecting... Now, at that point, now that I had the mother involved, now they're really going to get pissed off because they can't say anything they can't say like Derek's doing anything wrong because, mind you, I'm putting lunar weeks. I'm going by lunar weeks. And if they don't comply with that, then they just look like assholes. You know what I mean? Like even now, like you haven't responded. Like you just look like an asshole. So my plan, my expectation is that they are not going to say anything because they have a guilty conscience about something, whatever they did. That's my thought. So when they don't respond to that, on the full moon, I have another plan. So on the full moon, and then also, hey, by the way, how's Juby and how's Jesse, the sister and the brother-in-law, right? Because I want to throw them in, just like how last week I asked how Joanne was, and now I made the group chat with Joanne in it. I'm asking how Jesse and Julie are, because next week, if you don't comply, I'm going to get them involved too. And I know how they do not like to get involved, although they only get involved when it's convenient. That's what they say. We don't want to get involved. Yeah, but then why did you tell your mom what I told your husband? How did you know what I told your husband? Like literally, what did he tell you? Because I was on the phone with him for 45 minutes. What did you say to your mom? What did he tell you? Word for word. So my divorce is predicated on fucking this idiot playing the telephone game. So yeah, motherfucker, you are involved. You are fucking involved. All the fucking shit I've had to go through, and mind you, I'm grateful for all the shit I went through. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Hashem. See, now this is where we got to go back to the Bible, to the Torah, and remember the story of Joseph. It wasn't you who sent me here, it was God. I'm not going to make you slaves. That's not my job, that's God's job. If you're going to become slaves, that's God's doing, not mine. I'm not going to take your company away from you, but if God deems it that I am going to be the one who takes it, I can't deny my God that. So now, so in the first quarter we involved Joad, and then we're going to ask about Jesse and Julie. We're going to ask, how are they doing? How are the girls? Right? And then on the following week, on the full moon, then we're going to include a new group chat that is me, April's mom, April's dad, April, her brother-in-law, and her sister. Where I'm going to suggest, hey guys, they're gonna love this. Hanukkah and Christmas, the first day of Hanukkah falls on Christmas Day this year. This is such a rare occurrence that only God could have made this happen. You gotta understand also my connection with Hanukkah is the backstory of Hanukkah is exactly what I'm doing. Nobody knows this except for me. No one could possibly know this unless you read the book of Maccabees, which was taken out of the Bible. But the book of Maccabees gives an explanation of where Hanukkah came from. And it's not exactly the way that Orthodox Jews, the religious Jews, it's not exactly the way that they explain it. There's a lot more to the story. So when I reach out in this new group that includes April's sister and brother-in-law, I'm going to suggest a family get-together for Christmas and Hanukkah. Hey, Hanukkah falls on Christmas Day this year. So why don't we try to schedule something where we're all together? And by the way, how's my goddaughter? And how's my godwife? So now there's a backstory to that. What do you mean godwife? So when April's sister had her second child, I was asked to be the godfather, which I took very seriously. I love my goddaughter. She's my daughter. She's my wiggle worm. I love my baby girl. But because of what happened, because of this whole fuckery situation of the divorce and getting ostracized from the family, I have missed the past 6 birthdays of my godchild, who I love like my own. That's my baby girl. I didn't have a daughter. I had a son. But I have a daughter with my sister-in-law who's my goddaughter, you know? But the godmother is my ex-sister-in-law's sister-in-law. Right? So the younger sister, the cute one. But she was young. I think she's like 30 now. But when I say godwife, that's because after we were both designated as the godparents, she designated me as her godhusband. Because she was in love with me. Oh my God. Aaliyah used to be so much in love with me. Derek's got swag. He's such a dilf. Oh, I love that. Me and her, we used to leave. We never had sex. We never did anything. But we did. I like any family functions. We would leave and then we'd go back to my place and smoke pot. And we get like I would feel the awkwardness because where's Derek and Aaliyah going? Where are they going? What are they going to do? Oh, we're just going to the house to go smoke pot. Why don't they just smoke pot here? Because we don't want to. Because you guys fucking suck. You're all fucking boring. So my thought is, suggest the family get together, including April's sister and her husband, and then ask them, how's my goddaughter, and how is my godwife? Maybe we should all get together for Christmas and check with Aaliyah, see if she wants to be my date for the night. Ask her if she's ever dated a Jewish man before. And the reason I'm doing this, the reason, like part of the idea behind this, part of the intention behind this, part of the method behind the madness, just so you can get a peek inside my head, is I want to emasculate all the men. I want to emasculate the father, and I want to emasculate Jesse. And I want them to recognize that I am the superior, dominant Sigma male. And that just because we got divorced doesn't mean I'm not part of the family. Because you have my son. And so by blood, I am the head of that fucking family. She doesn't have to be my wife. I don't give a shit about that. But here's what I want. You guys took my son away from me. You took my wife away from me. Now I'm going to take my fucking goddaughter and I'm going to take my fucking godwife and then I'm going to fuck my godwife's brains out. And give her the best sex that she has ever had in her entire life. Then I'm going to rub her feet. I'm going to make her dinner. I'm going to make her the happiest lady in the entire world for the rest of her life. And we are going to come to every single fucking family occasion and annoy everybody about how cute we are together. That's my intention. That's what God shows me. Because no, you're never going to get rid of me, you fucking pieces of shit. You tried. God tells me that you actually tried to put a hit out on me. Because you know scumbag people that would do something like that, but they're too big of pussies. Because everybody knows, do not fuck with Derek. So, that's it. Now, again, I don't expect anyone to comply. But what I want them to do is talk about me. That's it. Because what's going to happen now, right? So April got the message, her father got the message. Now they are either going to tell the mom or they're not going to tell the mom. Now, after next week's, they might just leave it. They might just leave it saying that Derek's too big of a pussy. Or they're going to think that I was drunk when I did it. Because they have this perception of me that isn't true. They only see the person who they used to know. They don't know who I am today. So my hope, and it's okay if it doesn't work out exactly the way that I want. But the fact that it works out at all is the win. Like so far, like for instance, even if I don't get the balls to do this, to follow it all through, let's say I pussy out, I shame my Father in heaven, because my Father is in heaven with God. My Father is now merged. My Father's soul is back united with God. So is my grandmother, so is my great-grandfather, so is my grandfather. So I have my entire lineage all the way back to Jesus. Derek, son of Frank, son of Frank, son of Frank, son of Jesus, son of Joseph, son of Solomon and Nathan, son of David, son of Jesse, son of Ovid, son of Boaz, son of Perez, son of Judah, son of Jacob, son of Isaac, son of Abraham, son of Terah, son of Nahar, son of Serug, son of Reu, son of Peleg, son of Eber, son of Shelah, son of Arpachshad, son of Shem, son of Noah, son of Lamech, son of Methuselah, son of Enoch, son of Mahalalel, son of Jared, son of Kenan, son of Enosh, son of Seth, son of Adam, son of God. These men are all looking down on me to fulfill our God's will. And God's will is I embarrass the fuck out of these people who have been dragging my name, my family's name, through shit. Because I was concerned that my wife was a junkie whore. And it's not just me doing it. If we turn to Torah, specifically the life and times of Joseph, whose brothers beat the shit out of him because he was more special than they were. They beat the shit out of him, kidnapped him, and then sold him to slavers. They sold him to slavers, who then sold him to a magistrate in Egypt. But because Joseph was so beautiful, the man's wife kept on trying to seduce Joseph, and he continued to put her... No, I'm not doing that. And eventually what happened, the wife said to him, if you're not going to sleep with me, then I'm going to tell my husband that you were coming on to me, that you tried to rape me. And she did. And that's exactly what she did. And it got Joseph thrown in jail. But now here's the thing, is that while Joseph was in jail, he met two prisoners. One man was, they both had worked for Pharaoh, and they both pissed Pharaoh off enough that Pharaoh put them in jail. And Joseph comes to these guys, he's like, yo, what's wrong? You look all down. And they both say, we got troubling dreams, we don't know what they mean. And Joseph was born with the gift of interpreting dreams. Because the reason why his brothers threw him in fucking prison, or the reason they threw him into a pit and then sold him to fucking slavers, is because he had a dream that one day in the future, his brothers would bow down to him as their superior. So the one man tells him his dream, and Joseph confers with God. What is the dream trying to tell him? In 3 days' time, Pharaoh's going to come and he's going to put you to death. The second man gave Joseph his dream, and again Joseph conferred with God and asked him what the dream was trying to tell him, what he was trying to tell the man through his dream. In 3 days' time, Pharaoh's going to come, and after he kills him, he's going to give you your job back. And in 3 days' time, that's exactly what happened. And before the man was released, Joseph said, don't forget me. Do what you can. See if you can help me get out of here, because my brothers, they threw me in jail. My brothers, they sold me into slavery, and then this woman, she accused me of trying to rape her, and then I got thrown in here. I don't belong here. It was 2 years later. This fucking poor kid. He was 17 years old when his brothers first sold him. 2 years later, he's been rotting in this prison cell. And Pharaoh has a dream that's troubling him. He can't figure out the dream. And none of his advisors, none of his magicians, nobody can interpret the dream for him. So eventually this one dude, the guy that was in jail, he hears about this and he tells Pharaoh, he goes, listen, there's a Hebrew slave in the prison who interpreted my dream and told me that you were going to come and give me my job back. And it happened exactly the way that he told me. So Pharaoh, he calls on Joseph to read his dream, and he does. He gives Joseph his dream, and Joseph confers with God, and he tells him about a famine that's going to hit. So Pharaoh hires Joseph to prepare for the famine. Once the famine hits, Joseph's family is affected by it, but they don't live in Egypt. But they hear rumors how Egypt is selling food to all the foreigners. So the father, Jacob, he tells his sons, go and get us food, because we're fucked. When they go there, they're directed to talk to the operations manager, the viceroy. They don't know this because he's all drawn up, he's all dressed up, plus it's been about 10 years. They don't know that the guy that they're talking to is their brother, but he knows exactly who they are. Now Joseph, he had a different mother from all the other ones. He only had one full brother. The other 10 boys, they were his half-brothers. But he only sees the 10. He suspects that they did something to him. They did something to little Benjamin like they did to him. So he starts questioning them. And they tell him about their other brother who's home with the father. And he goes, okay, go bring him. Because I don't trust you guys. I think you guys might be spies. So you go back and you bring your brother, but I'm going to keep this one. I'm going to keep that guy right there. So 10 show up, only 9 leave. The 10th brother is put into a prison cell where he sits and he waits for the other ones to come back. Now, because of what happened to Joseph, who was the favorite, Jacob went fucking out of his mind. He didn't want to lose this other kid. Because the two of them were the children, they were the sons of his favorite wife. So So the boys have to go back, and they have to convince their father that this fucking guy, the operations manager in Egypt, he wants to see him. He wants to see little Benjamin. Because he's not gonna... He took the one brother, and he won't release him until we bring Benjamin. Because he doesn't believe that he exists. So after some cajoling, Jacob agrees. Reluctantly. And so they bring little Benjamin back. And Joseph, knowing who they are, sees his brother, is relieved, and he gives them all the food that they want. But Joseph's a man-witch. Joseph is trained in all types of magics. He's not the type of person that you fuck with. The only person above him in Egyptian society is Pharaoh. The Egyptians look at Joseph like he's a fucking god, which he was. So he fills up all their bags with grain, and for his little brother, who doesn't know it's him, he puts his cup of divination. It was a cup that he used for divining. So after they left, he sent his guards, go get them. Go bring them back. They stole something from me. So right before these motherfuckers are about to leave Egypt, they get stopped by the guards, who accuse them of stealing. And we didn't do shit. What are you talking about? So they get dragged back. They get dragged all the fucking way back to Joseph's office. What do you mean? We didn't steal nothing. Oh, you didn't? We'll see about that. So he gets one of his guards. He goes, cut their bags open. Start with him and work your way down. And they save Benjamin for last. He cuts all the fucking bags. They're all empty. But when they get to Benjamin, they cut the bag open and the cup pours out. Now poor little Benjamin doesn't know what the fuck is going on. This kid's just fucking losing his shit. And now they're all fucking panicking. And the one motherfucker, the mastermind, who fucking was the one who decided to sell Joseph, he goes, take me. Not the boy. Anything, just don't take the boy because it'll kill my father. You see, years ago, then they confessed. Years ago, we had another brother, but we beat the shit out of him and we sold him to slavery. We sold him into slavery. And it fucked with my father so bad, he holds on to this kid. Like this is his last remnant of his old wife. And once they get it all out, Joseph takes the mask off. Ha ha! It was me! Joseph the whole time, cocksuckers! At this point, they're all fucking bowing down to him. Please, my lord, my lord, my lord! And once he got it, once he was satisfied, once God was satisfied that these fucking insects got the punishment that they deserved, once they had to face and confess, you fucking piece of shit, confess, you dog. Once they confessed, Joseph reveals his identity to them. And they begged him. They groveled. Joseph, please, we're sorry. See, now Joseph was wise because Joseph literally had a relationship with God like I do. And Joseph had a lot of time to think about the events of his life and how things had played out. And Joseph had realized that had they not done exactly what they did, then he would not have been put in the position that he needed to be in order to save the world from the famine. Because you have to understand that what God was saying through the dream to Pharaoh was that there is a 7-year famine coming, but you have 7 years to prepare. That means you have 7 years to build a stockpile of food so that in 7 years, you have more than 7 years worth of food to supply. So much food that you can actually sell it to the other nations. Now, had Joseph not been there to interpret the dream, 7 years later, this famine would have fucking came out of nowhere and fucked everybody up. And if Egypt would have fallen, then the entire world would have fucking crumbled. Now, for Joseph, he had to swallow his pride. And instead of taking vengeance, he had to recognize the blessing that it was that these pieces of shit, they did exactly what God needed them to do in order to position him in the place where he needed to be so that he could act as the Savior. And it's from there that Joseph moves the entire family to Egypt and then sets the stage for Moses. But now that's the mindset that I'm looking at all of this from, okay? Now, Joseph had a wife. Joseph was married to the most beautiful woman in all of Egypt. She was the daughter of an Egyptian aristocrat. He was a high priest, but he was also an advisor of Pharaoh. But he was under Joseph. And the man wanted his daughter to marry Joseph because he didn't want any other of these scrubs to touch his daughter. The story of Joseph and Asenath is actually a very beautiful story, by the way. It's one of my favorite love stories ever. There should be a movie of it. My next lady, my next woman, I want that. I want that kind of love story because it's so beautiful. My Lord, why would you want any other virgin to wash your feet? Your feet are my feet. Your soul is my soul. See, Asenath, when she first met Joseph, before she met Joseph, she was talking a lot of shit about him. A Hebrew slave. Yuck. But then when he came to her house, because her father invited him in for lunch, Joseph didn't even sit at the same table as these people. He looked down on everybody because he knew he was better. I can't sit with you guys. But the man, he introduced Asenath to his son, or to Joseph, and as soon as she saw him, because of how beautiful Joseph was, she melted. And she felt like such a piece of shit because of all the shit that she was talking about him. And she spent the next 7 days locked in her room, fasting and pleading and begging God to forgive her for her dirty pagan ways. And on the 7th day, God actually came to her. And he said, "My child, my daughter, you will be Joseph's wife, and you will have him forever. Because I just had this same conversation with him. Because as it turned out, Joseph was just as much as in love with her as she was with him. And they both felt shame for the way that they treated each other that first meeting. And when they got married, Pharaoh's son wanted her. But Pharaoh knew that she was too good for his son, that she belonged with Joseph. And when they got married, Pharaoh declared a 10-day celebration. And if anyone was caught working during those 10 days, they were immediately put to death. That's how much Pharaoh loved Joseph and honored this man. That if you were caught working, doesn't matter what the fuck you were doing, you people are gonna spend the next 10 fucking days partying, having fun, and if anyone works, you're getting put to death. So Joseph, of course, everyone knew the story of what happened to Joseph. It wasn't a secret. So when the brothers came, Joseph was conferring with his wife about what he was doing. Even Pharaoh knew. Now, most people would say, fucking string those motherfuckers up. You better make fucking slaves out of them. Ah, trust me, I want to. I want to so badly. But, see, I have a gift. I'm very patient. That's why I'm not following up right now. I'm allowing my actions to leaven. Meaning, that was 2 days ago that I sent that message to April and her father. I saw the confirmation that they received the message, so I know they got it. That's why, right now, I'm kind of just luxuriating and just drinking in the panic and fear that I believe is coursing through their veins right now. It's kind of like reverse Reiki. And that's why next week, they're gonna forget about this in a couple days. These are simple people. I don't believe that they have the capacity to think ahead or think behind, think too much about this. So next week I'm going to surprise them with another message, the follow-up. Just a, hey, I wasn't fucking around. Like, can you guys cash at me $150 so I can get these things for Dez? Now, part of me, let's take April aside, because she's just a stupid woman. It's her father. Part of this is a man thing. If you ever saw Dune, if we ever go on a date or have a movie night and we could watch Dune and Dune 2, which I hope happens, there's a part at the end. Or even if you're following along with the Dune posts in the group, there's a part at the end where Paul Muad'Dib, who's leading the revolution against the Empire, after he defeats the Emperor's champion, and the Emperor realizes that he's fucked, Paul walks up to him. He says, fucking bow and kiss my ring. And I have the ring, too, that I'm going to have Richie kiss. It's my father's ring. I wear it on my thumb. I'm not wearing it right now, but the day that I meet Richie, where I see Richie again, hopefully on Christmas/Hanukkah night, kiss the ring. On your knees. Right in front of your other son-in-law, after I whoop his ass. Fade Rotha. Well, I'm gonna emasculate Jesse. I'm gonna emasculate Jesse on the 4th message when I ask about his sister. How's my godwife? I'm gonna say it just like that too, because everyone's gonna know what I'm talking about. And if they don't, then they're gonna have to. Then April's gonna have to explain, or they're gonna have to ask Aaliyah to explain. Why the fuck does Derek call you his godwife? See, Joanne, the mother, huge ego. She's not going to be able to contain what I say. So when I suggest Desmond calling my mother, she's going to tell at least one of her friends, and then one of her friends are going to tell a friend, and then that friend's going to tell two friends, and then that friend's going to tell two friends, and the word's going to spread, right? And maybe that's even what's happening now. Is that they're making a joke. They're making a joke out of Derek. Do you believe this fucking loser asked me for $150. Go get a fucking job. How about that? Oh, I am. I'm gonna get your job, bud. God tells me that I'm gonna be your boss. I'm gonna be the one signing your paychecks very soon. Right before I liquidate everything in the company. Then reinvest it all. Liquidate everything in the company, then reinvest it into a nice Jew business. What are you gonna make? I don't know. I'm thinking maybe unleaven. Made to order unleaven. Whatever business that my Lord wants. Maybe even because the Jews, the religious Jews, did me a favor in Tom's River, and they threatened the county with anti-Semitism because of the zoning laws. Jews require that they have to make their house into a temple. So Tom's River, in order to build a church, in order to have a church, in order for a structure to be a church, it has to fall within like 10 acres. It has to have 10 acres of land. But the Jews, when they said, "Hey, listen, if you're not going to let us do this, we're going to hit you with federal anti-Semitism law." And so the county changed the zoning laws for the Jews specifically, so that all you need is 2 acres of land, and you can make your house into a temple. So my idea is, once Ocean Dental is in my name, we're going to liquidate everything and reinvest all that money into at least 1 2-acre plot of land where we shall build the 3rd temple. God, I love it. I love it. I love the idea of it. I'm getting off on this shit. I jerked off to this last night. Like I jerked off in front of the mirror. And I came really good. Like it was like, I might actually do it again today. There's an old story that every year Pharaoh would ejaculate into the Nile River to ensure that it would be a bountiful harvest year. And that was kind of the idea last night, was my ejaculation was symbolically going into my symbolic Nile River to ensure that this is going to be a very most bountiful endeavor that I'm taking on. So I might pour more seed into the Nile today, just to ensure an extra bountiful endeavor. And even if it doesn't work out, like I'm not saying like it's all gonna work out exactly the way that I want, but just the feeling of it, just allowing myself to feel it, is enough for me to go, I support this. I fully support this, 100%. So then now my favorite part is going to be when we include Julie and Jesse. Because Julie and Jesse, they got a lot of friends. They got a lot of friends. And especially once I bring up Aaliyah's name with Jesse's little sister. I mean, she's 30, she's not little, but because she's the younger one, he should see that as a threat. He should see that as, I'm gonna stick my dick in one of your sister's holes. And she's gonna like it. And I'm gonna make her make sounds and wiggle and squirm in ways when my face is buried in her little vagina. I'm gonna be thinking about you while I'm doing it. And then when I meet your father, I'm gonna teach your father what a real man is like. Not to demasculate your father. No. My plan is to be the son to your father that he wished that you were. That's my plan. And then my godwife and I, we're going to take our goddaughter and raise her in a household that not only fears God, but nurtures her little bitch attitude, her superiority complex, because she's going to be raised to know that she's superior to all of her sisters. That's how it's going to work. And then you're going to bow down and you're going to kiss my ring next, right in front of your sister, right in front of your mother. How about that? Because what I want all of you to talk about me. And I want you guys to tell your friends about me. And I want you to laugh about me. That's what I really want. Like, this is all for my ego. But at the same time, I'm doing this for God. So you don't have to do it. You don't have to. You're not obligated to do anything I want you to do because you're already doing it in my head. And I'm not going to be upset if I don't get my way. I'm not going to stop and go, they're not doing what I want them to do. I don't have any attachment to the outcome. Do you see? My day's going to go on. My day and my life and all my work is going to continue to go. It's just that right now I just need to speak about it and talk about it and gloat in it. And jerk off to it. I mean, I don't feel right in the next message, on the follow-up message, I don't think it's appropriate. I personally don't believe it's appropriate to tell anybody that I'm jerking off to this. That I'm literally jerking myself off until I ejaculate and have an orgasm thinking about what I'm doing. I've actually jerked off in the mirror. I've thought about this. I've been thinking about this for a long time, especially with Aaliyah, and I have jerked off to the idea and reached climax to the idea of Aaliyah willingly giving me a blowjob in front of the entire family. Who has to watch? Because I know my poor godwife is stuck in this fucking nightmare hellhole with all these shitty people. Just like my poor goddaughter. God forbid. That poor girl better not be abused. Because the first thing I'm gonna ask her, were they nice to you while I was gone? Who was the meanest one to you? I'll give him a beating right in front of you. My intention is to get my family back. And I'm not talking about April and Desmond. Just simply them. I plan on living with these people. That's my intention. Is that I'm going to be going from house to house. Going from Julie and Jesse's. I'm staying at Julie and Jesse's tonight. Come on, godwife. We're going to go have sex in the spare room. Then the next week, we're going to spend over at Joanne's house. And we're going to have sex in all the rooms. As a matter of fact, at your brother's house, we're going to have sex in all the rooms, including their bed. And then we're gonna be the ones who fear God, and God's gonna give us all the fun stuff. And then we get to take our goddaughter out to do all the fun stuff while everybody else has to watch. Where are you guys going? We're gonna go have some fun. You guys gotta go to work today. What do you mean? Yeah, you gotta go work at the temple. Yeah, get your asses in the fucking unleaven, and the little ones too. The little ones are gonna work. You're gonna make the little ones are gonna make the dough, and you assholes are gonna make the bread. Because when we get home, we're gonna be fucking hungry. Because you niggas are our slaves now. Because Torah law says that as a Jew, I have a God-given right to own a slave, and you motherfuckers are gonna be my slaves. Oh, God. Oh, such a turn on. Just savor it. Just drink it in. That's it. Because it may not happen the way that you want it to, but it's happening the way that you want it to in your head right now. So that's good. You're sick. Nah. No, these people are sick. These people are sick. These are sick people. Why did they just say no? Well, they don't want to give you any kind of. They don't want to, like, even entertain the idea. They don't want to inflate your ego. It's too late. They don't. That's God's job. Only God can stroke my ego the way that I need it stroked. So I suspect that my God wife should be able to stroke my ego the same way too. Especially when she finds out that I legally cannot remarry April. I can't. God set it in stone that I cannot remarry that whore. Because as soon as you divorce your wife, as even said, if you divorce your wife and she goes and she marries another man, you are not allowed to remarry her. If say, he divorces her, once he gets his wits and he divorces her, or if he dies, you can't take her back. Wow. Oh, God. You're a sick, twisted man. No. That's not what God tells me. God tells me I'm the greatest of his servants, and that's why he's going to give me everything I want and more. Like all this stuff I'm talking about, I think that's what I want. That's what I want. That's what my ego wants. God has something even better planned for me. Believe that. What I want for me is nothing. Is fucking peanuts compared to what God has prepared for me. But I have to prepare myself by at least indulging my ego the way that I am. Like, I probably don't even need to bother with these fucking little peasants anymore. Like, my belief is, like, none of this stuff is gonna work out the way that I'd like to in my head. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do my best to do it. I have to do it. I have to commit to doing it. External circumstances may get in the way. Now, all external circumstances, if there's anything external that comes and gets in the way of me doing this, that's God. That's God going, okay. You gotta remember, it's just like when Isaac was about to be sacrificed by Abraham. Abraham had to go all the way through. It wasn't until Abraham was about to come down that his hand was literally coming down. Before the angel granted, whoa, stop. We got it. We just wanted to make sure. Holy shit. We didn't think you were actually going to pull it off. So there is a possibility that God tells me not to. All right, so let's make a thing. What criteria needs to be met in order for me not to do this? The only way I won't do it, my lord, is if you give me Miss Kim. If I'm not supposed to follow through with all of this, if I'm not supposed to decimate these people the way that you are showing me, then Miss Kim, I'll stop. And they can go and they can just go rot in their own little personal hells for all I give a shit about. I don't ever have to see them again. But as far as I'm concerned, if you don't, this isn't a threat either, by the way. I'm just saying, like this is my sign. The sign, like. The sign I need to see to know that I'm not supposed to do this is if Miss Kim takes my hand, or Miss Kim offers me her hand, or Miss Kim asks for my hand. That's the only way. The only way. If between now and next week, Miss Kim says, Derek, I want your hand. Okay, that's my sign. Don't leave those people to their own fucking misery. If that doesn't happen, though, I will take that as a sign as proceed. Okay. I mean, we got 4 weeks. Like, this is also training in this. This is like self-denial, you know? Because really, I could just blast it all out all at one time. I could blow my load in one shot. I could make this into one big fucking thing and just include everybody and just make a big fucking mess, a big cummy mess, because that's what this is to me. This is ego sex. This is ego coming. Or I'm allowing it to build up and pressurize and just turn into the biggest orgasm ever. That's why this week we're gonna hold back a little bit, give a little up and take it all back. This week is just to luxuriate in what I did. Next week's to drive the fucking point home. The following week, that's like putting the icing on the cake, and then once we get Julie and Jesse involved, that's the fucking cherry on top. That's me just fucking jerking off and spraying semen everywhere. Time is it? All right, let's go back. Oh God. Oh. All right, so what do we got to do today? I still got to do Torah study today because we have the last bit. We have the 7th portion of Chayei Sarah. Then yesterday was like fucking so busy, dude, because it was a 3rd quarter moon, so I had to do the full month review. So I had the full moon review, 1st quarter, and the new moon review, and then I had the 11 or 15 week review. So I didn't actually get done. I didn't get done with my weekly, monthly reviews until probably like fucking 7 o'clock last night. I was at it all day. I didn't even go for a walk. And I think I only got to work on music theory and Python, which is getting kind of good. I mean, mind you, we're not really into the meat. We're not really into the meat of any of this stuff yet. Like even music theory, it's like we're still at the basic stuff. We're still at the point where we're not even in music theory yet. Well, no, technically we are. Technically we are. The guy's giving all the benefits of knowing music theory.